Hi, it's Taylor Rostern here, co-manager of the Lakeville North boys hockey team, and we're back with Coach Eigner. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm doing excellent, thank you.
Good. So since last we spoke, we came off with 2 gritty performances against 2 top 5 teams. Since then, we've had a tough loss against Benilde and 2 wins against Eastview and Burnsville. What is the identity of the team this early in the season?
We're struggling to score goals right now. I think the identity is kind of something that's transpiring over time here a little bit. Unfortunately, when we're in the situation offensively that we've been in, you're kind of forced into the identity of a defensive-minded team. Fortunately for us, we've gotten fantastic goaltending since the get-go. So I think both individually and as a team, the kids are kind of learning, to find their role, fill their role, and it's just predicated by the lack of offense to this point. We've been doing a great job of erring on the side of caution defensively and playing a very responsible style of hockey, which it's not always the most fun way to play for kids, and it's not something we've been accustomed to over the past few seasons, but I think we've done a good job of adapting to it.
So with that, we only have 9 goals for and 9 goals against these past 5 games. Is this an intended style this early on in the season, or a byproduct of a small sample size thus far?
Well, I think for sure it's the byproduct. I don't know that 5 games tells you everything you need to know. We haven't even really landed on line combinations and what certain guys are capable of. People forget, when you plug in 14 new players to a roster, it's going to take a little bit of time to figure out, which guys fit certain needs. So the byproduct in terms of the tight games, it's never intended, obviously. I think it'd be a lot easier on a coach to win 5-0 than it is 2-1. But I think what you come to understand, at least over the years, is that playing in these games is really an advantageous thing to do. If you can get into situations that might mimic tight games in the postseason, and have those experiences early on, and if you can learn to be comfortable playing in tight hockey games, I think it's good for the growth of the team in the long run.
For sure. As you look at the entire North program, including the youth programs, what are you most excited for these next couple of years?
There's a lot to be excited about. I think that there's kind of a misconception about Lakeville as a community being this massive community with all these kids playing. The reality is, we're split into Lakeville North and South when it comes to hockey, and that leaves us with, a rather modest size hockey association in terms of 50, 55 square players, where you see in the West Metro up to 200 at that level. So the challenges are certainly there, but what I enjoy about it is it seems that the kids and families we have involved in the hockey program are just very enthusiastic about what we're trying to do with the program, the direction that the program's gone over the past few years, and if you combine that with some passionate kids and athletes and parents that like to provide opportunities for their kids, there's a lot to be positive about. And I know in going to watch our youth teams play, we are far from one of the top youth programs in terms of our on-ice performance, just based on sheer volume of players. But when I get out there and watch some of our teams play, and even our top teams against some top teams in the state, very competitive athletically. We may not have that refined hockey player yet, because our kids are still playing multiple sports, and that's just the way it needs to be to field teams, at least at the high school level, for a school the size of Lakeville North. So there's a lot of positives. I see just great families, great support of the program, and a bunch of good athletes that we can work with and continue to build our high school program.
Yeah, awesome. Lastly, we have 6 games coming up over the next 14 days. Will you talk a little bit about what you want to see and what you're expecting or trying to push?
Well, I guess the odds-on favorite honest answer as a coaching staff is we'd like to see the ability to create some more chances offensively, and if not, produce some more goals on the offensive side, just to kind of relieve some of the pressure defensively. But like I said, it is truly early on, so I think if there's one thing as a coaching staff we're kind of internally harping on and focusing on, is just continued improvement and consistency when you're dealing with a lot of young players playing maybe their 5th or 6th varsity game. That consistency is a piece that's something you really strive for, and that usually comes with experience. And we just don't have the luxury of having a bunch of guys that have played in every situation and in a lot of hockey games. So I think we'll make consistency a mark of our development. If we could kick in some more goals here and there, that'd be fantastic. But by and large, I mean, just steady improvement over the course of the season, I think, is what, as a group, we kind of hung our hats on, and we were never going to get too high or too low because we really didn't know what kind of product we were going to put out on the ice early in the season. So we've been competitive in every game. I think we're trending in the right direction, and we look forward to playing, through the holidays, some more competitive teams and some what people consider higher echelon teams in the state.
Thank you, Coach. It was great to catch up with you today.
Appreciate it.